Hello Stampers, this is Susan Malloy of Silver Lady Stamping, and I'm also an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Thank you for joining me today. Today I want to show you how to make this super cute card made with the Seascape stamp set. Let me show you, this is the stamp set. It has it's just so pretty. I love it. And it has coordinating dies that are different from the stamp set. So these are not coordinating dies, they are separate. So but they go with the stamp set theme, the ocean. So here's like a koi fish or a goldfish and a seahorse, some coral, and little fishies that you could cut out and create a school of fish. And the stamp set itself also has little fishes, the first school of fish, and they have the little bubbles, and it has some seagrass, and again more coral and some sea sand, and then a fish, and then some really nice sentiments. So what we're going to use some of those images. We're going to use the seagrass and the bubbles, and of course I'm going to use the sentiment for the card, and then we'll die cut this koi fish or this goldfish. So let me show you the supplies that we're going to need to make this card. So let me set this aside and bring in my different pieces that we're going to need. So we're going to start with, for the card base, we're going to use a piece of Pool Party cut at 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4 1/4. This is going to be a landscape card. And I already die cut the fish. No sense you watching me die cut and then poke all the little pieces out. The unique thing about this die is that it does not cut. I mean, it looks like a regular die. It has all the edges, but it does not do a complete cut. The design of this stamp set, of this die rather, is for it to do a partial die cut so that it gives a 3D image on your card. So when you lay the card onto the paper, the pieces of it will stand up, and you can fold up the fins, the back, the lower fins, and it will stand up on your card without cutting it all the way through. But what you'll do when you die cut it, I suggest putting it through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine a couple of times. So roll it through, roll it back, and I suggest rolling it through again, because what I found was that unless I did that, the little pieces in here didn't die cut all the way through, and I ended up tearing the paper trying to get them out. They partially cut, and then when I got into this little part up here, they were basically not cut all the way through, and so I was tearing them, and so a layer of the cardstock came off, but I had to use scissors to cut the rest, and it just didn't look right. But when I die cut again and did it, rolled it through, and it basically did it 3 times, forward, backward, and forward again, it die cut properly. And I was able to poke the pieces through just fine. So I went ahead and die cut it already. And this piece is 5 1/4 by 4. And that's on basic white. Then we're also going to need a piece of Bumblebee cardstock for the next layer, cut at 5 by 3 1/4. And we're going to need a piece of Crumb Cake cut at 5 1/4 by 1 1/4. And this is going to be the part, I'll show you what this is for. So it's going to be the bottom of the ocean or the lake or whatever it is, probably the ocean because that's seagrass. And then we'll do some stamping on that, and we'll do some tearing. So then you'll also need, for the sentiment, we're going to use a piece of Calypso coral, just a tiny piece, cut at 3 by 1.5. I mean, 3 by 1/2, because it's just a tiny piece. And as you can see, again, I'll bring the card in again. We'll just use it for this one piece over here. And then for the inside of the card, we'll use a standard 5 1/4 by 4. Excuse me. All right, so what we'll do is start by folding our card base in half. And then we'll burnish it with the bone folder. Give it a nice crisp edge. Okay. There we go. All right. Now we have but we're going to set the card base aside because we have to do a little bit of stamping on the die cut piece. And we're going to, oh, I didn't tell you the inks that we're going to use are Pool Party. We're going to use some Crumb Cake. And then also for the seagrass, we're going to use Granny Apple Green. And that's what I'm going to use right now. So let me open that. And this is the seagrass. And what we're going to do is you're going to lift up the tail fin, and then we're going to stamp the seagrass right underneath the tail fin. And then the bottom of the seagrass is going to be covered by the piece of Crumb Cake. And then the back of the fish, we're gonna put this bumblebee on the back of it. So you want to just ink that up with your Granny Apple Green ink. Okay, set that aside. Lift up the tail fins and then just stamp right across it. Give it a good press. There we go. Okay. Now let me bring in my cleaning pad. Clean my stamp off. Okay. And that's all we're going to be using the Granny Apple Green for, so we can just set that aside. All right, and I'll take the stamp pad and the image rather, and just put it back in the box. Okay, so now we can take our bumblebee, our layer of bumblebee, which is cut at 5 3 3/4, because we want it just smaller than the layer, and we're going to adhere it underneath the goldfish. And then that way you'll see that the goldfish is swimming in front of the seagrass. Okay, so we'll do it this way. And I'm just going to put some glue, and you can use Stamp and Seal if you prefer. I'm just using some liquid glue, and I'm just going to go all around the edges. I am not going to go in the middle because that we'll end up with glue in the center where we have the pieces cut. So I really just want to cover the and it doesn't have to be terribly perfect because this is not the front, it's the back, and no one's going to see it. We just want it to show through behind the goldfish. Okay. And see, if we had put glue in the middle, then the fins of the goldfish would probably end up getting adhered down when we didn't want it to, and then you'd be seeing glue all underneath it, and that would not be nice. So you want to fold up your fins however you want to see them. So that's that piece done. All right, so now what we'll do, we'll bring in our piece of crumb cake, which is cut at 5 1/4 by 1 1/4. And the other thing I want to do is pull out the sand stamp and put it on my block and just set it aside for now. But what we're going to do with this piece is literally, we're just going to do a little bit of tearing to just make it be a bit uneven, and just tear it however. It doesn't have to be perfect, just give it a wavy tear, just kind of do it up and down. There's really no wrong way to do this. It's however you want to do it. So you see, that's just how it's going to look. So what we're going to do now is stamp with our crumb cake stamp pad. Okay. And then just move that up, and then just stamp all around it. Till you get it to look the way you want. That's really all you need. You don't need to overdo it. Okay, I want to clean my, let me set that aside. Clean my stamp. Okay. And put that back in. Okay, bring my card back in. And then we're going to, actually, let's see. Well, you know what, I have a little bit of glue. I'm not sure how that happened. Let me see if I can get it off. Oh, and of course I stuck my finger in it. I'm gonna keep going because I want you to see how this is done. I'm not sure how I stuck my finger in it, but obviously I did. So that little smudge, that's not a good thing. I'm waiting for a sanding sponge to come in the mail. I didn't get it yet from Amazon. It's a mono, I don't know who makes it, mono sanding sponge. It's just small like this glue eraser. But it's a sander, so if I had it, I would have been able to rub over that and it would have taken the ink off. I'm going to keep going. You know where I'm going with this. I mean, we'll just let it go. So, and the reason I'm hesitating is because while we could certainly put this right there so that we have the bottom of the card as blue, see, that's how it's going to go. We could bring it down a little bit more. No, I think I like it up. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit of glue to the back of our piece of crumb cake. Okay. And then line it up with the bottom of the white card layer. Now, there we go. And there we go. That looks kind of nice. All right, so what I want to do now is we're going to stamp some bubbles. So you'll see, I'll show you on the card. He has these blowing bubbles in the water. All right, and for that, we're going to use some Pool Party. One of my favorite inks is Pool Party. And there's really no right or wrong way of doing this. Okay, so let's just see. Get my head out of the camera. Okay, I think I'll do another one. And I am sorry about that little boo-boo. I'm so disappointed, but I didn't want to have to start it all over again. I wanted you to see how the card is made, and I think it's you get the gist of it. And I don't even really have anything I can put over it, but that's all right. Okay, we're done with that. Let me clean the stamp. And then all we really have to do now is just mount it. Oh, wait, you know what I didn't do was add our sentiment. So I have my little label, which I'm pretty sure that I told you the dimensions, but let's just double check them anyway. My handy dandy ruler. It is 3 inches by 1/2. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I told you what that dimension was. All right, and I'm going to use the sentiment that says, I'm here for you always. And I'm going to use a Mento Black ink. It's pretty straightforward. Okay. Hopefully I got it on straight. There we go. Set that aside. You know what? I'm going to set that aside to dry for just a second. And I will put some glue on the back of this layer and then tack it down onto the card base. And then we'll put our sentiment on because it should be dry by then. Okay, you know what? I'm going to flip it over and give it a little back rub. I don't want to risk pressing down on the front and getting more ink on it. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is put on some dimensionals. That'll look nice, kind of popped up. I'm probably overdoing it. It probably doesn't need 4, but I'll put 4 on anyway. And I'm just going to put it on the bottom. There you have it. That's the card. So again, you may need to fluff up the fins while you're working on it. It may flatten out a little bit, but how pretty is that? It's just so pretty. And I think what we'll do is we'll now just stamp on the inside. So the inside is our standard 5 1/4 by 4. And I think what we'll do is use this one. Just thought you should know how wonderful you are. And maybe we'll put a school of fish on it. Okay. I need a block for my sentiment. There we go. I think I'll just continue to use the black ink. It's pretty straightforward, and really, honestly, you can't go wrong with Memento Tuxedo Black. Okay. There, not so bad. And I think for the school of fish, I think what I'll do is use some bumblebee ink, kind of yellow like the larger fish. Okay, and there, right side up. Otherwise they were going to go upside down, which is, hey, it's not that fish never go upside down. Okay. There we go. Little school of fish going by. Let me close up the ink pad. And we are basically done, except to just tack this down now. Here's another back rub. Get it nice and adhered down. And there you have it. That looks so cute, right? Oh, we put a little stamp on the inside, you know, some sort of a decorative stamp, just to jazz it up a little bit. Again, I'm sorry about my little smudge for screwing that up, but I'm sure yours is going to look absolutely beautiful. So I want to thank you for watching today. I really appreciate it. And I would also appreciate if you would subscribe to my channel. And while you're there, if you could click on the little bell so that you can get notified when I upload another video. And I will be posting below all of the supplies that you would need to make this card. And I'll include a link to my blog where you can purchase them in my store. So I really do appreciate you watching, and I hope to see you soon.